Hey everyone, it's Kirk here again at Option Alpha. So I recently got another email, same email that I've gotten 100 times, but I don't know why this one kind of hit me a little bit different, but I'm paraphrasing here. But the guy basically said, look, I'm starting over trading options. I've been a trader for a long time. I've been trying to trade options for a long time. In this case, it was like over 5 years, but he basically said, like, I don't know where to start. I'm struggling with where to start. It seems kind of overwhelming. I don't know what to do. And my answer has always been basically the same thing, which I'm going to tell you here, but I want to use this example, which I hope might help you because I went through this weekend with my son, and just to use like an analogy or like kind of an example from real life, but my son's bedroom looked like this. So he does a pretty good job, and he's almost 7 years old now, but he does a pretty good job of kind of keeping his bedroom in order. And the other day I walked in and my son's bedroom looked like this. It was, pretty well picked up, right? But it kind of was starting to slip. And like you could notice that things were out of place. Like he left some clothes on the floor, he had some toys laying around, right? And I told him at the time, I said, look, hey, look, you got to pick this up, or, do whatever you need to do. Like it started to just continue to slip. So a couple days go by, right? And then of course it becomes chaos, right? And at this point now it's completely overwhelming. And so I feel like, metaphorically speaking, this is where a lot of traders get to with options trading, is they just don't know what to do. It just like a little bit of confusion turns into a lot of confusion, and then it just becomes this like jumbled mess, and they have no idea where to start. And he literally came to me this weekend and he was like, Dad, he's like, I don't know where to start. Like, it's just overwhelming. I mean, he's like sharing all this. He's like, I need you to help me. I can't do it. Right. And I'm sitting there thinking at the, first time I was like, Bud, you just need to start, and I'm trying to tell him to start. Like, you just got to get started, buddy, right? Because that's, of course, what we all need to do. So I'm just saying, hey, look, you just start, pick up a few things. And he's like, Dad, I literally don't even know where to start with. And so I realized at that point that maybe this is where some people are too, and why I'm doing this video now. If you're, kind of restarting in trading or don't know where to get started in trading, it's, I realized my son, he literally didn't know where to start, even though I said just start somewhere, just start at one thing. So I'm going to try to tell him what or hopefully tell you guys, or suggest that you guys do, or what I would do if I were starting all over again, which is just to pick one thing. And so what I actually did with him is I said, look, why don't you just tell me, like, where do your sneakers go? Like, where do your shoes go? Right? Like, that's it. Like, and I just focused all of his attention on just that one thing. Like, let's just put that back in place. And once we get that thing in place, then we could do the next thing. Like, okay, where do your dirty pants go? Where does your dirty shirt go? Where do your pencils go? Like, where do your crayons go? Like, they go back in your desk or back in your drawer or whatever. So it's like a lot of this stuff is there, but all we need to do is just like really focus our time and attention on just one thing at a time. And so we spent quite a bit of time in his bedroom this weekend cleaning it up, and we got it back to square one. So I'm sure it'll get messy again, but hopefully I taught him a lesson on just like picking out one thing and just starting there and starting to build, some momentum with there. So how do I tie this all into options trading? You might be wondering. Okay, so here's what I would do if I were starting all over again. And I've told this to a number of people before in emails. I've never put this in a video because that's why I'm doing it now. If I were starting over again in options trading and I didn't know where to start, I had a general understanding of options, but just like felt confused, felt like my metaphorical room was messy, I would start with a single, small, great trade. That's it. And I don't think you have to overcomplicate it. And this is, I think, doing just that one trade is the same thing as just picking up the pair of shoes, picking up the dirty clothes on the floor, and like putting it in the hamper. Like, that's it. You don't have to clean the whole room yet. You don't have to do the whole strategy yet, but just find one great, easy, small trade. And I'll give you a suggestion on what I would do and how I'd find it. So I would find a trade that is a trade that has over a 50% chance of making max profit with a over 100% reward to risk ratio. And the reason I would do that is because this is not going to be a trade that you're going to get steamrolled on, right? You're not going to have a trade where you can make $20 but lose $800. Like, that's not this trade. This trade is a weighted coin flip. And I would specifically start with this just to get into the habit and into the momentum train of finding trades with a little bit of an edge. So if you take trade ideas, for example, and you go in here, I filtered by credit. Then I filtered, and this is one that I have in my presets. So I have this one in my presets because I like to make these trade ideas. But you go in here and you filter by ETFs. Then you do days to expiration. You can do whatever you want. I do 20 to 45 days, so a little bit further out in time. And then you do the risk to reward here. You do 100% or higher. And that's really important. I'll show you here in a second why it's important, because it gives you some momentum that if you do lose on the first trade, the next trade could make back what you lost and you're back above square one and back above even very quickly. So you don't fall into this like death pit or trap of this like long drawdown. And then you're going to do the max probability of profit here of 50% or higher. And again, all we're shooting for is a weighted coin flip. That's it. That's all we're looking for. We don't need to go for 90% probability of profit. We just need to build a habit here, get ourselves back into motion with trading. And then, of course, I filter out by expected values, of course, greater than $5. So I want to filter out anything that has low expected value. Now, the last thing you could do, and again, I don't do this in my presets, but you could certainly do this if it's your first time, is go ahead here to the spread width, and let's make the max spread width just $1. And the reason that we're going to do that is because then what that does is that gives us these max losses, which are super, super small. And so again, the whole idea here, if you're starting over, don't know what to do with your first trade, trying to figure out some momentum with trading, is just to get into a good habit and rhythm. And most of the time, what prevents you from doing that, in my opinion, is just these trades that are just too big. You kind of get out over your skis, if you will, like you just get lopsided. So I think if you do the spread width of $1 or less, that's going to find you really, really great trades, but also really small trades to just start to build a habit on. So if we go down this list here and we find a trade, like let's say we do this IWM trade here, this IWM trade, and this is a great example of a trade you can make, right? So this trade is out to May 23rd. So you've got some time here. The max profit here is $54. The probability of max profit is 52%. So it's definitely a little bit of a weighted coin flip, right? Positive expected value. The risk to reward is 117%, which is great. And the max loss is $46. The probability of max loss under 50%. So if you just play out these numbers here with this particular trade, just kind of play these numbers out over many, 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 many trades, just flipping this coin over and over again, you're going to win a little bit better than 52% of the time and make $54. And you're going to lose about 47% of the time and lose 46. That differential right there, that little small differential there is your edge. That's where you have a weighted coin flip in your favor, where you're selling premium and you're net collecting a little bit more money over time doing this trade. And this is the type of trade that I would start with if you're starting all over again. Just find a bunch of these trades that you can enter because they're small. The $46 is not going to kill you. It's not going to blow up your account, right? But it gets you into the habit of cleaning things up, of getting onto a different path for your trading. So just go through the list here and find trades that meet these criteria and try to enter some of those positions. By the way, in this video, I'll put a link to this pre-setup, this whole list of filters right here. I'll put that link right below this video so you can just click on it, go right over to Trade Ideas, find those types of setups if you want. All right, so thanks again for watching this video. I hope it really helped out and gave you at least an idea of potentially something you could do to get started again. If you're restarting with options trading or starting all over again, you haven't traded for a while, hopefully this is a good idea to help get you on the right path. As always, if you have any questions, let us know in the comment section below. And until next time, happy trading.